Welcome once again to Lehto's Law. Here's Steve Lehto.
Got a funny story out of Ohio, and I've had a couple stories lately about insurance. So Western Hills body repair shop owner frustrated with Allstate insurance. And how would you know he's frustrated? Well, if you drive by in front of his shop, he's got one of the signs he can change the letters on. It says Allstate insurance claims are not accepted at this time. So yeah, he is not happy. He's frustrated, and that's how you know. So Chris Reaver wrote this for Fox19.com out of Cincinnati. Jerry from Cincy sent this. Thanks a lot, my friend. The owner and operator of a Western Hills auto body repair shop says he is so frustrated with Allstate Insurance that he put up a sign outside his business saying he will not deal with them because they are slow to settle claims. So they're too slow, he says, to pay their claims. The man says that while the pandemic really brought problems to the forefront, Allstate Insurance has added to them. In my 53 years in the industry, the body shop business, I've never seen anything like this, he said. We've got vehicles that have been here for 6 months. He says his shop is already booked up until March of next year. While there have been problems getting parts since the pandemic, he says finding technicians needed to fix the cars is also another challenge. But he says the things that makes him most frustrated right now is when companies that his customers are counting on slow the process down. So you are in an accident and your car gets damaged and gets towed to a body shop. Body shop says, yeah, we work with your insurance company. We'll take care of this, okay? And I had my car, I got rear-ended a couple years ago, took it to a body shop. This is exactly what happened. And so they then call the insurance company. The insurance company sends somebody out who walks around the car, talks to the body shop, says, here's what we will pay, here's what we won't pay. And apparently that process doesn't go so smoothly, at least in this man's experience with Allstate. The thing is, when you have to deal making 20 to 30 phone calls on one claim, then they have 3, 4, 5 different people contacting you over that claim, it gets frustrating. And it's overwhelming, he said. So we are just not going to deal with the company. The same scenario happened to an Allstate customer after he was sideswiped, and he says he fought Allstate for 6 months. The Ohio Department of Insurance told Fox 19 that there have been 1,854 auto insurance complaints this year to date, and 162 of those are related to Allstate. So I have no idea what their share of the market is, if that number's high or low, and that's what we would actually need to know to put those numbers in context. But I can also tell you that the Ohio Department of Insurance, the fact that they exist would be a shock to many people, meaning that if you're in Ohio and you had problems with your insurance company, most people would say, oh, either I'm going to call a lawyer and try to sue them, or I'm going to call Fox19.com and complain. But the insurance commissioner or the Department of Insurance, and I can tell you that in Michigan, we have a Department of Insurance. Traditionally, it's run by people who used to work in the insurance industry. It's a revolving door of former insurance executives. And so they get this position in Lansing, and it's almost like ceremonial because they don't do much. But if you complain, they will take your complaint and say, thank you very much. And they'll forward it to the insurance company who'll say, oh, that's unfounded. And they'll then say, well, we don't know what to say because you say one thing, they say another, and not much we can do about it. So maybe you should talk to an attorney or Fox 19. Allstate provided a statement to Fox 19 Now. Allstate pays the current market rate for repairs, which are set by the local market, and regularly reviews those rates based on local market conditions. Thanks. Unquote. Or end quote. The point here, though, is we're not complaining about the current market rate. We're complaining about the speed with which you approve the claims. Unless you're going to say that they all got denied because of people trying to price gouge at repair shops. But I don't think that's what you're saying. So the man who runs the shop said, I'm just not going to do this anymore with this company. Now, they changed their attitude. I'm open, but I don't see it happening. So as of right now, the sign says, Allstate insurance claims are not accepted at this time. And here's one of the things about insurance. And you have to understand this, because right now there are people in the audience who are thinking to themselves about typing a response going, Steve, I'm with Allstate. I'm with State Farm, who you mentioned in the last video. And I've had great experiences with them. And most people have no experiences with their insurance company except paying the premiums. So if you sign up with somebody like this and you pay your premiums and you have no claims, seems like a good deal. And if you file a claim and they pay it, you go, hey, I had a great experience with them. And I'm going to tell you right now, when my car got rear-ended, I'd only had it a few months. Rear-ended at a red light by somebody who was texting and did, I think, $7,000 or $8,000 in damage to the back of my car. Now, I'm going to tell you, and this is not an advertisement, but I was insured through Geico. And so when I got home, I called Geico, and I spoke to somebody, and I don't remember if I spoke to them first or got online or vice versa. But I think I spoke to somebody who said, we've got a claims process online. And the guy said, just to let you know, if I talk to you on the phone, you're going to be doing through me what you can do yourself. I said, oh, really? And he got me to the screen, and he goes, do you need my help at this point? I said, no, it's okay. Thank you. And I did it myself. And I basically found, they said, here's a place you can take your car. You can schedule taking your car here online, and I scheduled when I'd bring it in. And a couple of days later, I bring my car in, drop the car off. The guy goes, oh, we got all your information here. And somewhere along the line, somebody called me, and I'm pretty sure Geico called me directly and said, Steve, we got an estimate for this much to fix your vehicle, and we've approved it. And the guy also said, just to let you know, that in situations like yours, where it was a perfectly lined up rear end impact, he goes, we could have been tempted to try to repair the rear hatch on your vehicle. He said, notice your vehicle's only a couple months old. He goes, so I've authorized them to buy a brand new hatch, the lift gate on the back of your truck. He goes, so I've authorized them to go ahead and buy a brand new one for you, even though we probably could have pounded that one out or found you one in a junkyard. But he goes, your vehicle's brand new, we're going to do that for you. So now if you say, Steve, what's your experience with them? I'll say I had one claim and they treated me well. But of course, I've been with them for a few years. And the real question is, what are they going to do on a more complex claim? What if the car had been bent in such a way that, not just repairing and fixing that rear lift gate, but what if the unibody or the frame was twisted? I'm talking about just in general. Or a vehicle gets sideswiped. Are we replacing body panels or pounding them out? Are we using Bondo? What are we doing here? And so I've heard people tell me these horror stories where they've brought their vehicle in and somebody comes up and looks at it and they leave and the body shop goes, we haven't heard from them yet. We don't know what's going on here. And body shop starts making phone calls. The customer starts making phone calls. Now, in my case, I was put in a rental. So I wasn't that inconvenienced. But I know people who aren't put in rentals. And they're concerned because, how do I get around now? And so as this guy's pointing out, he's saying that he has to make 20 to 30 phone calls on one claim. Now, I only had to make one phone call myself where I called Geico and the guy walked me through the website. But I also tell you that when the guy called me to tell me they'd approved the claim, so that'd be the second phone call, he actually gave me a phone number. And he goes, this is my cell phone number. He goes, you can call this number anytime. If I don't answer, leave a voicemail, I'll call you back. And he's basically telling me I could deal with him, not somebody else at Geico. I never had to call the guy back, but I thought it was a great gesture. But the guy at the body shop is saying, I got to make 20 or 30 phone calls myself just to get an answer on, can I repair this car? And it doesn't appear to be just the cost, although Allstate did say that they pay the current market rate for repairs, which are set by the local market, and we regularly review those rates based on local market conditions. Thanks. It doesn't sound like it's the rates so much as it's the mere approvals, which is the question. So it's interesting, but I can also tell you that I lived in a neighborhood years ago where I used to walk my dog, and before Milo and Wolfie, that's how long ago it was, through this one park. And across the street from the park was a row of houses. And there's a fire in one of those houses one day. And the house got burned badly, very, very badly. And the next day, the house is all boarded up. And it was boarded up for weeks. And then one day, the homeowner came by with a can of red spray paint and wrote across the front, insured by State Farm. That's all they wrote. They didn't say we're unhappy with State Farm. They didn't say State Farm is bad. They didn't say State Farm is good. They just simply said, insured by State Farm. And I wish I had a picture, but I don't. And that was before cell phones had cameras. That's how long ago this was. So, Jerry from Cincy, thanks for sending it. Chris Riva wrote this for Fox19.com, WXIX, which of course is 19 in Roman numerals. Western Hills Body Repair Shop owner frustrated with Allstate Insurance, and you know that because there's a big old sign out front. Questions or comments, put them below. Those. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Thank you for watching Lehto's Law. Don't expect answers. Rather, ask what's the question?